learning faith by God's grace. Sometimes He answers our prayers anyway, even when we didn't have as much faith as we ought to have had. James had been executed, possibly in spite of their prayers. But notice the purpose for their prayer meeting. Chapter 12 and verse 5. The church is praying for Peter. They're praying for his release. So what happens when God releases him? They weren't really expecting it. They are surprised. Rhoda comes to the door. Peter's knocking. She comes to the door. She sees it's Peter. And she's so excited, she runs back and tells the others, while Peter's still at the door, and they disbelieve her. Just like the disciples disbelieved the women at the tomb in Luke chapter 24. It's his ghost, they say. I mean, first they say, you're crazy, which they also kind of said for the women at the tomb. It's his ghost, they say. It's his angel. Just like they thought that Jesus was a ghost in Luke chapter 24. Well, there were some popular traditions in which the righteous became like angels after death. But ironically, an angel had just delivered Peter, and this was the real Peter. But it wasn't that the narrative is condemning their faith, although it may be laughing at their lack of faith, because Peter himself initially didn't think he was being released by the angel. He thought he was seeing a vision until he got out into the cold night air and got down one street and realized, oh, this is really happening. So Peter himself hadn't believed it, even though he was going through it at the time. Maybe it took him a while to wake up. But in any case, meanwhile, Peter is pounding on the gate. Now keep in mind that there were other porters probably in the neighborhood. In upper city Jerusalem, there were many people had guards at their gates. So somebody else could look out and see, who's that knocking at their door? This is kind of a dangerous situation, right? But the Lord takes care of it. Well, Peter recounts to them what happens when they finally let him in. Rhoda is the only one who really believes it initially, just like the women at the tomb were the only ones who believed it initially.